Hello students, as we know in earlier video lecture, we have studied and we have started the discussion with the interfacing of I/O with the microprocessor 8085. In that video lecture, we have studied about the PPI, that is Programmable Peripheral Interface, which is created by Intel Corporation, and it is a 40-pin IC which is available for interfacing or increasing the pin amount of your 8085 microprocessor by using a parallel communication. Now, whenever we used to think about interfacing multiple devices with your microprocessor, at that time we need some chips there, or actually we can call it we need a data transfer schemes. As we know in the instruction of 8085 microprocessor, we have studied about the data transfer instructions and all. So data transfer instruction ultimately used to interface the I/O devices, or maybe it is used to transfer data from I/O to memory or memory to microprocessor to I/O. So data transfer used to happen between these multiple I/O devices. For that we have a data transfer instructions there. In today's video lecture, we are going to start the further discussion with basic data transfer scheme. What is the meaning of a data transfer scheme? So first we have to understand the basic of that. As we know, whenever we used to interface a device with the microprocessor, sometimes that device have a different operating speed. Your microprocessor have a different operating speed. Sometimes the speed of microprocessor and your I/O device is not going to be the equal. Sometimes your I/O device is not little bit slower. Sometimes it is little bit faster as compared to microprocessor. So how to interface that device? How to communicate with that device? For that purpose, we need a data transfer schemes there. Okay, so we are going to start understanding the data transfer scheme by simple. Here we have a diagram. By using this diagram, we can say that how we used to do a data transfer in microprocessor. So whenever we used to start a process, after that we have to run the program. Inside that program, we have to execute the input output devices, or maybe we have to execute a memory instructions to run that data transfer. Okay, and after that we used to stop that execution. This is how your data transfer scheme work in your 8085 microprocessor. So data transfer scheme are further divided into three categories. Why we need three different categories there? Because we are thinking, or we are saying that sometimes I/O devices have a different speed, operating speed, and microprocessor have a different operating speed. Sometimes they are equal on a speed manner. Sometimes maybe your I/O speed is more greater as compared to microprocessor. So according to the speed of I/O peripherals, we have further described it into a three different types. That is programmed I/O data transfer scheme. Second, we have handshake I/O data transfer scheme, and third, we have interrupt-driven I/O data transfer scheme. So we are going to start a discussion with the first point, that is programmed I/O data transfer scheme. The meaning of a programmed I/O data transfer scheme is what hidden into its name. Program I/O. We used to provide a program. What is the statement for that? In this mode, data transfer completely done under the control of a program. What it means? By using a program, we can control the program I/O data transfer between I/O peripherals. So it is totally depend on the program. Because of that, it is called as a program I/O data transfer scheme. It is further divided into three categories according to the speed and requirement of the data transfer. First type of that is a synchronous, and synchronous is unconditional. What is the meaning of unconditional? Done this type of asynchronous data transfer, unconditional data transfer does when microprocessor and I/O speed is equal. Whenever any peripheral and your microprocessor, both the speed of two devices is equal, at that condition we used to do a synchronous unconditional data transfer. After that, we have a second synchronous mode with delay. Sometimes maybe your I/O peripheral can't match the speed of a microprocessor. So how to match that speed? We can provide the delay. What is the meaning of providing delay? If we are providing delay, for that much delay time, we are able to match the speed of your processor and your I/O device. For that purpose, we need a synchronous mode with a delay. Why when we does that? Does when speed of I/O is less. When I/O speed is what less, at that time we used to provide a delay to a microprocessor for executing the synchronous mode with a delay. Then third type of a data transfer scheme is there in program I/O, that is synchronous mode, that is conditional. What is the meaning in a synchronous manner. And what is the meaning of asynchronous? It is also not in a asynchronous manner, it is in a synchronous manner. So asynchronous use when it is done when speed of IO peripheral is not constant and unpredictable. Not constant in the sense we can't predict the speed of IO device. At that time we use the asynchronous mode and it is totally unpredictable. So this is nothing but the first type of your data transfer scheme, that is program IO data transfer scheme. Now second type is what there, handshake IO data transfer scheme. What is the meaning of a handshake IO data transfer scheme? Two block diagrams are shown here on a blackboard. Whenever your IO device is what don't have that much speed, at that time we need your second type, that is handshake IO data transfer scheme. It is further divided into two modes. First mode is there, that is handshake input mode and handshake output mode. So what is the statement of your second handshake IO data transfer? It is used to interface slow IO peripheral. Why we need it? It is used to interface a slower devices with your microprocessor. For that purpose we have a handshake input mode and handshake output mode. So this diagram represents the handshake input mode where we have the CPU there. Then we have a handshake input output device, and at the output here we have a input peripheral. Now same diagram is what also here with your handshake output mode. In both the mode, two important signal plays very important role. We have to control the devices which is much slower. How we are going to control that? Whenever we want to provide a data to CPU, we have to tell that we are ready for sending the data. Whenever it is receiving data, we have to tell the CPU that we have received data. That is nothing but a signal, acknowledgement signal, ready signal. So this kind of a signal plays very important role in both handshake input mode and handshake output mode. So first mode is handshake input mode. Here in handshake input mode we have two different signals there, IPF and STB. So what is the meaning of a IPF? It is generated by a handshake IO code. Who is generating it? This handshake IO code is what going to generate it. Whenever the value of the signal is high, what it indicates? High value indicate that IO is not ready. What it means? IO is what not ready for accepting data or maybe for sending the data. Which mode? First input mode. So it is what not ready for accepting a data. Okay. Then we have STB. What is the meaning of STB? Why we need STB signal there? Generated. This signal is generated by a slow peripheral. Who is generating it? Slow peripheral is what generating the STB signal. It is normally high level signal. When high level is there, in that high level indicate that peripheral is ready for data transfer. Peripheral is ready for a data transfer. In IPF it is not ready. And in STB signal it is ready for a further data transfer. So this is our handshake input mode. Second we have handshake output mode. So in handshake output mode we also have two different signals, that is OBF and STB. So what is the meaning of OBF? OBF signal is what is generated by a handshake output device, output port. So whatever the output port is there for handshake device, is what signal is generated by that output port is OBF signal. It normally used to be high. And what it indicates when it is high? It indicates that the output port is full. Whenever output port is full, in the sense data is transferring from the device to device, at that time the port is full. So we used to generate a OBF signal there. It is normally a high signal. Second we have STB signal there. So what is the meaning of STB signal there? So STB signal is a acknowledgement signal. It is used to acknowledge, is generated by a slow output peripheral. Slow output peripheral used to generate the signal for acknowledgement purpose, and it acknowledges received data. Whatever data is not get received, they used to acknowledge that data. In the sense, something is what we have received and we are sending the acknowledgement, that the acknowledgement bit for telling the CPU that we have getting a data. That is nothing but the acknowledgement bit. It reset the internal nothing but the second scheme, that is handshake IO data transfer scheme. Now, very important and very necessary transfer scheme is there, that is interrupt driven IO data transfer scheme. Why interrupt driven IO data transfer scheme is what is designed there? We know that with the program IO data transfer scheme we have multiple problems, like problem of synchronization, where we have unconditional things, conditional things, we have to provide the delays and all. So multiple times we have to check the thing that device is ready or not, maybe its speed is not matching to the CPU or not. So this kind of excessive work we have to do in both the cases, where in a program IO and in handshake IO. To eliminate this kind of a problem, next data transfer scheme is what we introduced there, that is interrupt driven IO data transfer scheme. What is the meaning of interrupt driven data transfer scheme? Whenever any IO peripheral want to access the memory, whenever any IO want to access the, or whenever CPU want to access that IO space, or IO want to access some ports there, it just used to ask the CPU about the interrupt. Okay, whenever it used to ask about the interrupt, what is the meaning of that? IO is ready for transferring the data, or IO is ready for interfacing. It only used to ask for a interrupt signal. Okay, for a CPU, it used to generate an interrupt signal. Because of that, we used to call it the interrupt driven IO data transfer scheme. What is the meaning of that interrupt? That IO is ready for data transfer. So these are three basic data transfer schemes used in 8085 microprocessor for interfacing or for communicating with the multiple IOs of having a different clock speed, or maybe we can call it having a different operating frequency, operating speed. So we can easily establish a connection by using these three data transfer schemes. By using these three data transfer schemes, they have designed a multiple IO devices. Is what we are going to learn in the further video lecture. In next video lecture, we are going to start a discussion with modes of a communication, that is half duplex, full duplex, duplex mode. Then we have a serial communication, parallel communication, synchronous communication, and asynchronous communication. In this video lecture, we have studied about the data transfer scheme. Thank you for watching.